because you make everything interesting. So, by the way, I had a silver lining in productivity because I also have not been on the road almost at all, albeit periodically, maybe once every 2 months, but nothing to speak of. And I was able, therefore, to finish my next volume of my Bible commentary, Deuteronomy, which turned out to be the toughest of all the books. And so it's a good thing if you could make something out of a bad situation.
Absolutely. I've tried to do that. I mean, I tried to do that with my case with the Obama administration, which is to say, I found myself parachuted into a sort of world that I would never otherwise have set foot in. And I looked around and said, you know what? Let me think of myself as being in Papua New Guinea. There's some very interesting human specimens walking around. Let me try to understand who these people are, how they function, how they think. And weirdly, at the end of it, I was able to link the kind of gang mentality, you might say, in confinement centers with the mentality of the Democratic Party. Some may call that a leap, but for me it was a logical inference.
Yes. No, we're very, in many ways, kindred spirits. I did this when I was single. I did this with regard to boring dates because I'm easily bored. So if I was on a date with someone who I found boring, I decided I would study boring people. And boring dates became unbelievably interesting, and there's no cuteness here. I wanted to understand why would I find somebody boring, and I came up with great reasons, which I've applied to human life. So I agree with you that's you make something constructive if you have no choice.
Absolutely. I also think one of the things that we can learn from, Dennis, and this is true, by the way, in literature, but it's also true in life, we can learn a great deal from silence. When Abraham Lincoln was elected in November of 1860, he didn't take office until March. In those days, you assumed office 4 months later. And this was it's sometimes called the Great Secession Winter. Lincoln made almost no public statements for 4 months. And it's very interesting to think why, because there was a huge debate raging in the country about secession. Lincoln said a few things, but by and large it was private notes and letters. This public silence of Lincoln is that you could almost write a whole thesis on it. Why did the man say nothing? Trump is relatively silent right now, and everyone's like, well, Trump's been silenced on social media, but by and large Trump has been quite reticent now for several weeks. Just a few short statements here and there. Recently, I think he made a few more statements a couple of days ago, but interpreting the silence can also be very illuminating.
We'll hear about that in a moment. As always, a delight to speak to Dinesh D'Souza, who now does a daily podcast through the Salem Radio Network and available everywhere, basically, as is Relief Factor. Actually, it's not available everywhere. Relief Factor is only available at relieffactor.com, 800-500-8384, the easiest product to recommend to you.